This one really shocked out of me. Let's talk about it. Hello, everyone. This is Dwight Woods, the Jeet Kune Rebel. Welcome to the I Love Jeet Kune broadcast number 321. This is the one about starting a Jeet Kune school. As you're logging in, if you'd be kind enough to say where you're logging in from, hit the like button and feel free to continue doing so throughout the broadcast. If you're catching the simulcast over on the YouTube, please be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell as well. But of course, the best thing you can do is to share this video and spread the word about the I Love Jeet Kune broadcasts. Okay, so here's what this is about. So a guy posts, I wish that there was a Jeet Kune school in Indianapolis, Indiana. It doesn't really matter. First comment is Jeet Kune isn't for the masses, so it's hard to set up schools everywhere like you can with other mass marketable arts. And that's true. In fact, back in the day, I used to make fun that MMA was an acronym for something like this, mass marketing appeal. And also, what was the other one? Mass media something or what have you. But then it starts. So one guy says, start one, as in, I wish there was a JKD school. So the recommendation is start a Jeet Kune school. Then another guy says, start one. There's plenty of content online. Then another guy says there's no authentic schools, but there are practitioners. And then another guy says, start it up then, right? And it just went on and on. And finally, well, not finally, but then another guy says, do they have garages in Indianapolis? And the suggestion there was, well, that's a different suggestion. Okay, so after reading and hearing all of this, do you have the same question I do? I mean, isn't a school, a martial arts school, isn't it a place where you go for instruction from a qualified instructor? Or is a martial arts school a place where a group of people get together to work out? So then I'm going to ask that again. Is a Jeet Kune school a place where people go for instruction from a legitimately certified instructor? Or is a Jeet Kune school a place where a group of people get together to work out? See, because here's my thinking. If the guy had said, there's no ninjutsu schools in my area, would people have suggested to him that he just go ahead and start one? If the guy had said, there are no taekwondo schools, there are no Kyokushin karate, there are no Shotokan karate schools, would the suggestions have included go ahead and start one? So my question is this unique to Jeet Kune, or does this happen all over the place? I'm old, I might not be keeping up with the trends or what have you. Now, I know that there is a thing called Gracie Garage, right? Where even though the Gracies might not take ownership, so to speak, as far as I know, they might not take ownership of what you're doing in your garage, they still recognize you to a certain extent, and they will provide an online curriculum for you, or a DVD curriculum or what have you, that you can follow. Now, I can envision people who run a Gracie Garage, people who train at a Gracie Garage, ultimately making the effort and attending like a real life seminar and getting some real life instruction from a legitimately qualified Gracie Jiu-Jitsu instructor. So I'm wondering, because I don't want to disparage anybody who commented, just start one. Was that just, is that what they meant literally? Just go ahead and start one, as in, well, anybody can start a Jeet Kune school? Or did they assume that the guy who was saying he wished there was a school is a guy who is already qualified. And so their recommendation was that he go ahead and start one. This is what's confusing to me, and why I want to talk about it. Because I remember I was in Atlanta at a Sifu Inasano seminar, and a guy comes up to me and says to me, well, how do I become an instructor? And I asked him, what number Inasano seminar is this for you? And he said, this is number 1. This is my first Inasano seminar. So I said to him, well, maybe now is not the right time to focus on becoming an instructor. Maybe what you want to do is to focus on becoming a good student. So I am confused, and I turn to you guys for some clarification. Is this a trend that appends to all martial arts, or just to Jeet Kune, where because there's online information, you can go ahead and start a school? Because maybe I'm just too old-fashioned, because to me, school is where you go to get an education. So if you don't have a Jeet Kune education, how do you start a school? I can understand, but now if what these people were actually saying is, well, start training, get a group together and you guys start training, which is not a school, that's a training group. If that's what they meant, well, then more, yeah, then I get it. But so I turn to you guys to explain this for me. Let me know what you think. I pretty much just explained to you what my viewpoint is. Let me know in the comments below. That's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, subscribe, and hit the notification bell as well. Follow me on Twitter at Dwight Woods and on Instagram at Dwight D. Woods. At paypal.me, that is where you can find the Jeet Kune Journey Volume 1, paypal.me, which is actually a story about my journey as an instructor, right? Paypal.me/UnifiedMA Miami. You can also support the show at jkdrebel.com. If you click on the Rebel Gear link, and that's where you'll see stuff like this. The 4 tenets of Jeet Kune coffee mug, also available in garment form, as is everything else. jkdrebel.com. Click on the Rebel Gear link. Keep in mind, Saturday and Sunday, February 1st and 2nd of next year, Titans of JKD 4. Not tomorrow, because tomorrow there won't be JKD dialogues, but probably next Wednesday. I got to show you guys something that I got from Paul D'Annunzio about Titans. It was really cool. And Paul, if you're listening, it was really well received by the powers that be. And that's it. Well, let's see, what time is it? Okay, let me stay on for a second and take a look over here and see if anybody's said anything. Okay, so Paul, you are here. So Paul, I'll share with you, if not later today, tomorrow, the thing that you sent me about Titans. Everybody loved it. So Mark Black says, just to Jeet Kune in my experience, especially based on some comments that have been made. Okay, yeah. Oh, man. You know, I guess, Mark, that is because JKD does have that backyard reputation. But the thing is that, I mean, if we start with the original backyard gym, the original backyard school would be Dan Inosanto. And that would be 6 years after he met Bruce Lee. And 3 years after he was given the responsibility of leading the Chinatown group. So this is not a guy who was just starting out. This is not like Inosanto spent some time back at Bruce Lee's hotel room in August of 1964, and Bruce Lee says to him, "Well, I'm heading back up to Oakland, so just start a school here." It wasn't like that at all. There was a period of learning, right? So, okay, Mark. So it's just Jeet Kune Do, huh? All right. Walter Evans says, I think all good instructors have the humility to see themselves as eternal students. Even Bruce Lee himself did. Yeah, true, Walter, but not quite to the point of today's discussion, but you're right. Mike Perez says, it's common. I had why don't I do this? It's common. I had someone ask me how long it takes to become an instructor. I told him that depends on your effort. I can't give you a time frame because it'll vary for everyone. Yeah. Right. Like Michael, like Chris Kent says, it takes as long as it takes. Right. Norman Taylor says, I hope they mean a training group and then travel to train. The beauty of it is with Zoom and other platforms, they can get supplemental. So I wouldn't call it a school. Exactly, Norman. Right. And what's this? And then Michael Marcellus Brown says, I want to start a Jeet Kune Do school and I want to be an instructor. How much? Whatever that means. Right. And Paul says a training group still needs the guidance of a qualified instructor. Exactly. So, I mean, I guess, if a group of guys decide to get together, hopefully their intention is to legitimize themselves at some point in the future, right? And not start referring to themselves as Jeet Kune Do instructors or what have you. But hey, Jeet Kune Do is not only one of the biggest unorganized martial art families in the world, it's also one of the biggest unorganized instructor stuff in the world. And Mr. Brown says, it means how much is it going to cost to be a Jeet Kune Do instructor and to start a school? Well, how much does it cost to be a Kyokushin instructor and to start a school, not a backyard group? Just ask yourself that question, Mr. Brown, and see what answer you come up with. Okay. All right. So that's going to be it for me for today. Ladies and gentlemen, sorry. Like I said, tomorrow there won't be an episode of the Jeet Kune Do dialogues. There's stuff that I got to get to that I had to put off when we were out of town. Okay, so but I will see you next Wednesday for another issue of the I Love Jeet Kune Do broadcast. Today's a blue day. There you go. All right, and so you guys enjoy the rest of your evening, and I'll see you back here next week. Until then, this is Dwight Woods, the Jeet Kune Do Rebel, signing off. Take care. Be safe. Talk soon.